The woman was so scared when she took a shower that she found the security camera of her mansion. Unexpectedly, there was a man in black with a mask on his head. What surprised her even more was that the man was still walking towards his bathroom. This sudden moment made her sweat a lot. She immediately put on her clothes and was about to call the police. But she didn't expect that her phone ran out of battery and was forced to turn it off. Lisa stared at the black screen of her phone for a while and her hands began to tremble uncontrollably, because she was the only one in the house. So she ran to the balcony immediately and shouted loudly. She said she had called the police and tried to scare the man away. At the same time, this isolated situation also made the fear wrap around her like a straw. She didn't know that the man didn't care at all. After a warning, Lisa quickly returned to her room and immediately closed all the windows. After making sure that it was safe outside, she took out her bag and found a power bank inside. At that moment, the man in black had already come to the balcony on the second floor. Fortunately, the walls of her mansion were all single-sided. She could only see the outside from the inside and couldn't see the inside from the outside. At that moment, the man in black didn't know what was going on inside. At that moment, they looked at each other. She stopped breathing and didn't dare to make a sound. What did the man in black think at that moment? He turned around and walked to the side door. Lisa, who reacted, only then remembered that her back door was not locked. So she quickly ran to the side door and closed the door first. The man in black who was close to the window was trying to open the door. Lisa, who was next to her, was also extremely panicked. After a few minutes of trying, it was obvious that the other party could not enter for a while. The man in black could only measure everything inside from the outside. She tried to see the situation clearly from the outside, but still got nothing. In order to prevent an accident from happening, Lisa quickly went downstairs and closed all the remaining doors and windows. At that moment, the man in black had to leave for a while, and Lisa rushed to the point with her phone in a panic. But she soon found that the other party didn't seem to leave at all, but was surrounding the villa from the outside. It seemed to be looking for the entrance to come in. In case Lisa called 911 on the spot, she soon found that the phone could not be reached at all. It turned out that the man in black had already cut off the signal source of the villa in advance. The other party's conspicuous plan also made her realize that things were far worse than she imagined. Lisa, who was anxious, did not know what to do for a while. She kept looking around in the room. She wanted to find a way to contact or escape from the outside world. Just when she was about to despair, she subconsciously looked up and saw the fire extinguisher on the roof. She also caught a faint hope for a while. She immediately came to the kitchen and prepared to turn on the gas stove. But several times, the gas stove did not respond. She just remembered that she always eats takeout, and the gas has long been in short supply. Obviously, this method does not work, so she immediately opened the drawer and found the match. Then she stepped on the chair. She carefully slipped the match, and then slowly lifted it to the bottom of the fire extinguisher. With the flame approaching, the alarm was finally triggered. At the same time, a piercing sound was heard. Lisa hurriedly ran to the edge of the window, and then stared at the action outside. She thought the other party would leave after hearing the alarm, but what surprised her was that the other party did not leave, but instead took out a remote control from the bag. Then she took out a manual and just pressed it. The alarm in the room stopped, and the jade plate of the black-clothed man also made Lisa's hope to break again. Then the black-clothed man took out a club and tried to pry open the door. At the same time, the dull knocking sound suddenly hit Lisa's little heart, and behind the door, she was shaking all over. At this time, she had no way to help. She could only pray that the other party could not come in. Maybe the door of the villa was too tight. A few minutes later, the black-clothed man stopped. He turned around and left the scene. At this time, Lisa slowly approached. She slowly confirmed whether the other party had left. After she found no one outside, she also knew that this might be a rare chance to escape. So she ran to the kitchen quickly. She wanted to leave through the back door, but she just came to the back door to hold the door handle. Lisa was so scared that she quickly hid behind the table. She didn't dare to make a sound at all. It turned out that the other party couldn't pry open the front door, so she came to the back door to try. Obviously, she couldn't shake the bulletproof glass at all, but when she was about to try to pry open the window again, she didn't think of the front door, but she thought of a knocking sound. Lisa seemed to have caught the straw. It was the takeout she ordered before. She quickly ran to the balcony on the second floor and then called out to the little brother downstairs. She wanted the little brother to help call the police, but the little brother was too far away to hear what she was saying. Just when the little brother was in a daze, it was obvious that the man in black attacked her from behind her. Lisa saw this scene on the balcony, and she suddenly screamed. At this time, she could only watch the tragedy happen, but she couldn't do anything. She knew that if she didn't think of a way, she would be the next one to suffer. Time soon came to the evening. Lisa wanted to sneak out of the side door, but there was no other house around the villa on the top of the mountain. She ran to her car quickly. She wanted to drive away, but she just got in the car. She pressed the start button, but the car didn't respond. So she got out of the car and opened the engine cover. She found that the connection line of the engine was cut off on purpose by the other party. Lisa raised her head subconsciously, but she found that the man in black was standing not far away, and the other party was just staring at her quietly, and didn't do anything. At the same time, she closed the car cover tightly, and then ran into the house quickly. She didn't expect to open the door just now, so she found herself in a panic. So she left the key in the car. She had no choice but to go back to the car to get the key, and the man in black was gone at that time. But at that time, he couldn't control the situation at all. Fortunately, he successfully opened the door. When he came back to the room, he was afraid and was ready to open all the lights in the house. But when he just opened the light on the side of the window, the man in black was standing outside the window and staring at her. He opened the window and asked the man in black what he wanted to do. He also said that there was no grudge between them. If he wanted money, he could discuss it. He tried to compromise for his own safety, but the man in black never said anything. He just sighed at the window. Then he wrote on the glass the words that you have to die tonight. And Lisa looked at the words on the glass and was completely panicked. She had no choice but to go back to the room first and hide in the corner. At that time, fear and despair came at once. It also made her cry involuntarily. Just when she didn't know what to do, there was a noise outside the door. It turned out that the man in black brought a fire extinguisher. He wanted to melt the door with high temperature directly. And when Lisa saw it, she immediately grabbed a fruit knife to defend herself. She was ready to fight with the other party to death. She slowly came to the door, staring at the door, shaking with a fruit knife. She cheered herself up in her heart. As soon as the man in black came in, she ran over. But when the door was open, fear still overwhelmed courage. She didn't dare to go forward at all. She could only turn around and leave the back door quickly. But when she just got out of the door, she ran into the little girl lying on the ground. And at that time, she didn't care so much. She could only leave quickly. At the same time, the man in black also chased her. At this time, she found that there was no place to hide in the backyard. She could only hide under the railing, staring at the man in black above. And the man in black, who felt something was wrong, immediately came down to check. But she found that the bottom of the railing was empty. She had no choice but to look elsewhere. It turned out that Lisa, who was in an emergency, had just hidden under the wooden board. She was lucky enough to hide for a while. She had to run to the downtown for at least 3 hours. But as soon as she ran into the living room, she ran into a man. The other party turned out to be her ex-boyfriend. He was so excited that he told her what had just happened. He also asked her how she got here. But the next words of her boyfriend suddenly made Lisa find something wrong. There was no signal in the woods. She didn't even send a message to her ex-boyfriend. But her ex-boyfriend said he received her email. He wanted to make up with her. At the same time, Lisa became suspicious of him. And the sixth sense of a woman also told her that the man in front of her was the man who wanted to kill her. Before her ex-boyfriend could explain, she took the fruit knife and slid it at him. Then she quickly ran away from him, quickly ran into the room, and hid under the table. No matter how her ex-boyfriend explained, she still believed her own judgment and dared not make a sound.